So I hope you have understood. Am I audible? Okay. So I hope you have understood something at least about inter-thread communication. So let us look at quickly two small points and then proceed to advanced Java. I'm thinking whether to show cloning because I don't want to like waste time or delay that. Of course, whatever. There are 2-3 topics which I have not discussed in core Java: reflection, JVM architecture, and this cloning. So I'll take it somewhere in between advanced Java, wherever there is suitable. But this is a thread related topic. So let us cover that and then only go to enterprise Java. So, okay, before that, let me ask you, has everyone got MySQL database installed locally on your hard disk? And everyone knows username and a password of that. In short, tell me, what is it you have used? Have you used the workbench or have you used the command prompt? Command line client or the workbench? Command line client. Okay. So guys, check this out also. So this is I just open that command line client and keep it ready. I'm going to take first user thread, daemon thread, but just giving you time in between. So this is my MySQL command line client. I hope everyone is using MySQL 8. Am I correct? Okay, great. So just log in. And after you log in, so everyone must be knowing his or her own password. When you say status, just say status there. You must be knowing all these commands. I'm repeating maybe. So you should know. So in my case, my credentials are root and root. Username is also root and password is also root. So SSL and all that I will tell you later. And you just check that port number where your TCP port number where MySQL is running. By default, it is 3306. So is it all up and running? Everyone's MySQL database? Great. We're going to require it after we discuss the user and daemon threads. So you can keep it open. I mean, it's just a client. Okay, so let me get you back to user versus daemon thread. I have, before the break, I have shared you entire day 22 help, extracted, and you will find a package, folder, daemon threads. Open the diagram and let me discuss. So everyone knows from the initial days of Java, I have told you, there are two JVM created system threads, main and a garbage collector. Main is the foreground thread, active thread, which starts the sequential execution of your main method. And there is a background thread, which JVM, that is your garbage collector, which JVM will give a chance periodically if heap is under pressure. So if JVM feels, I've not shown you garbage collection algorithm. I'll show you that. I cover all of that under one JVM architecture topic. So I have to tell you basically two things: class loader architecture and the garbage collection algorithm. So we will cover it on one of these days. So coming back to the point, when you say garbage collector, whenever JVM gives the chance to garbage collector when the heap is under pressure, its job is clean up the heap. I mean, whatever are the unusable objects, free them up. So basically, garbage collector is used as a servicing thread. And that is nothing but that is the main characteristic feature of a daemon thread. So now start reading the difference. User versus daemon threads. So all the threads, including main and whatever we have created in last 2-3 days, are of the type non-daemon equal to user. So these are the threads which are created by default. In simple English, when you use any of the thread class constructor, be it extends thread, be it implements enable, all the threads which you have created are of the type user thread. Now, what is the main difference between the two? So keep reading. Let me ask you, you know all this. Suppose you are any of the user thread, be it a main thread or be it a child thread. If it is running, will JVM terminate the application or will it not terminate? Everyone knows the answer. It does not terminate. You remember before join, I was showing you main thread was over, children threads were running and the application did not shut down. So user threads, if they are running, user is equal to non-daemon. If they are running, they will stop the JVM. They will prevent the JVM from termination. Okay. And the important line to remember all the time is, when does Java application terminate? Java application does not terminate when the main is over, only when all the user is equal to non-daemon threads have been terminated. So this is what you have seen all the time. Now read the RHS part where I'm discussing the daemon threads. So how do you create daemon threads? So the starting point is the same. Use some thread class constructor, create a thread. And after that, there is a thread class method, pretty easy, set daemon. So when you set the flag as true, that indicates that you have created a thread as a daemon thread. So answer my question. Should you call this set daemon after calling the start or before? Should you call this set daemon method after calling the start or before? 100% before. Because after you call the start, the thread is no longer under your control. It is given to the JVM and the underlying operating system. So what is the correct sequence? Given the example, thread T1, this is the runnable example, new thread, new my task. So my task must be runnable task. This is the name of the thread. And before you say start, you simply say T1.setDaemon to true. So now answer. Is JVM going to wait for completion of T1 thread to terminate the application, or will it simply go ahead? Answer is, it is not going to wait. So read this carefully. Daemon threads, even if they are running, they do not prevent the JVM from termination. So again, the same statement I'm saying. When will JVM terminate? When user threads are over, or daemon threads are over, or both or neither? Answer is when the user threads are over. So JVM does not wait for the daemon thread to get over. It will anyway terminate. So for example, if your garbage collector thread is running, JVM is not going to wait for its completion. Now the use cases. Where do you use it mainly? So they are typically used as the background servicing thread. One famous example is garbage collector. If you ever write, you don't have it in your contents, but if you ever write a multi-threaded server, multi-threaded server means a server which can handle concurrent clients. Which can handle multiple clients concurrently. Anytime you hear the word concurrency, you have to think in threads. So your multi-threaded server can create the daemon threads and call them as client handler, and server does not have to wait for those client handler threads to finish. So they are typically used as background thread, worker threads, servicing threads. And this statement you already know. So is the difference between user versus daemon thread clear? Major difference? Okay. So now once you solve it, it becomes easier, understandable. So just a second, I'll just check the package name I have used. Daemon threads. Okay, great. So now follow the instructions, please. Copy this tester and runnable task. Just a second. This is also in daemon threads, correct. So great. So here, copy these two under the code is also shared under the same. Keep it under the paste it. Don't create a separate project and all. We are almost finishing with core Java workspace. So just paste it under SRC, Control V. It will add it in the default package. Of course, you will have a problem because I have named it as a daemon thread. So just click on it and change the package declaration. Move the runnable task to daemon thread. And similarly, move the tester. Just click on it and move the tester to daemon threads. I'll wait here. So in same 22.1, you have a package daemon threads and you have runnable task and the tester. Tell me when you do, when you finish, I'll give you the next instruction. We'll start looking at the code. Yeah, two of you are saying this. Can I continue? Okay, so now look at the code. So look at the runnable task first. It's an interesting example. You start reading. This is the moment I said task, now everyone knows we are using the implements runnable scenario. Whether you implement runnable or extend thread, run method has to be written. So this is our run method. So here you know rest of it. This thread started, and as you can see, just focus on this business logic. It's just a for loop. Whatever less than 0. So anyone wants to tell me, I'm going to create, or rather I have already created in the tester something like 1, 2, 3, 4 threads. So which thread out of it is going to do the data read operation? All the threads are a specific thread. Everyone knows this. A thread whose name is 2 is going to ask the user to enter the data. And I'm not actually taking the data, system.in.read. So it will just wait for a keystroke. And you can say, for example, suppose I say I want to enter the data 5. So 5 and carriage return types will add that. So, and then I'm printing this execution counter that this thread has executed this much time. And here, as always said, for real world testing, rigorous testing, simulating practical details to force the context switching, sleeping for a while. So tell me, is the small business logic clear? Whatever I've written in the highlighted part, is it clear? Okay, so this is your runnable task. Now open the tester. Next to it is a tester, and you can check this. So this is a copy of some earlier code written with you together. So printing the main detail, creating the runnable task. The number of threads is only main because I have not even created a thread. I've just created a task. Creating the tasks and created the task and attaching the threads to it. So these are now, all these are new. Only one thread is runnable, which is main. I think this all is super clear now. And now after this, all 4 threads are runnable. Main and the 3 children thread. Are we 100% clear so far? There's a very simple code compared to what we did recently in the morning half. Now, and here I have got main over. I'm not doing any join. Is everyone clear about the code? I'm not asking about this. Code is clear to everyone. So now answer me that, is this going to give rise to orphan condition? Yes. So that is not the point. Okay. Orphan is not here. The point is user versus daemon thread. So tell me, currently, are there any other than garbage collector? Okay, leave garbage collector outside. Are there any daemon threads we have created other than the garbage collector? No. Okay, so now I'm asking you a question before we start running. Suppose we run this, okay, and I'm not giving any input. I'm not sending any input. So in that case, will the application terminate or will it not terminate? I'll repeat my question. I said, if we launch the application and if I don't supply any input, okay, will the application terminate or not? Are you going to see JVM terminated? Of course not. Because of which thread it will not terminate? Your choices are 1, 2, 3 or main. Everyone understands? What will be the state of second thread? You are right. So I'm asking you more. What will be the state of the second thread? Open that runnable task. Exactly, blocked on input. Which line number, please? Where the thread will be blocked? Line number? Where is that line number? System.in.read, line number 15. Are we all clear? Okay, so now why don't you run this? Just run this. So observe, see, observation, application not yet terminated. Main got over right away because main we did not use any join and all. I don't want to use join, by the way. You'll know. So now you can see one thread, first thread has started, two has started, and which thread is blocked on input? Second thread. And as you can see, first and third are simply having the loop. So they are looping over. After that loop is over, first is over, third is over, main got over earlier, but the application is not terminated. So will JVM terminate the application if any of the user threads are running? So this is confirmed with a simple example. Everyone understood the meaning? Okay. So now I have a next question. Okay, I can ask you, I can spend the whole day on threads, which we don't have, by the way. But the point is, it's so interesting. So coming back to the point, now anyone wants to tell me how many times I'll have to press enter to see application terminated. How many times we will have to press enter? Okay, you are wrong. Anyone with this? 10, 9, all wrong. Okay, at least I got better than this. How can you say one, guys? Wake up. Here, this whole code is in the loop. So, I mean, one answer is totally unacceptable, guys. Give me better answer. So the real answer is 5. And you know why? When you press carriage return, it consists of 2 keystrokes, CR and LF, carriage return and line feed. So when you press it 5 times, all those 10, system.in.read is going to read 1 byte. And when you have 2 keystrokes, you have given supplied 2 bytes. Don't trust a word. Press enter once. Can you see? Enter data happened twice. So it has finished first execution, second execution. Count it. Second, third, fourth, and finally fifth. And then you can see second thread got over. And the moment all user threads are over, application got over. Got the same results? Okay, all the statements clear? Now I want to, of course, I'm coming to daemon threads, but I thought of something more. Okay, so here, see this. Anyway, let's not waste time. I was going to add the interrupt, but forget it. Takes too much time. And then remind me if you are interested in the lab session that you are going to show us something about interrupt and daemon user threads. We'll cover that. Now, let's check user versus daemon. So I want to make second thread as a daemon thread. I'll repeat, I want to create that second thread as a daemon thread. So where should I make the changes? In the runnable task or tester? Tester is the right answer. Open tester. And which thread I want to make it as a daemon thread? T2. So T2 dot set daemon to true. What about my first and third? They're child threads. So let them be. But the third one, we have enabled it to true. And after that, we have started. Okay, save. Now tell me, what do you expect to see? After, yeah, you tell me. I'll not say. I made this daemon. So the application should get terminated the moment the main and 1 and third is also over. Just check. That should tell you the conviction or confidence. JVM doesn't wait for the daemon threads to complete the execution. Try it out. Best is what? Trying it out. Main got over earlier itself. And the moment your third and first thread got over, has the application terminated or has it not? 100% it will terminate. So is the difference between daemon versus non-daemon clear? And like I said, use cases, servicing threads, your garbage collector, client handler threads, they are all written as they are all configured as the daemons. So guys, this is what I wanted to show you mainly. There is something like a volatile keyword and also additional readmes, whichever is in your contents, more than that I have taken. But on the top of that also, there are so many things in Java. So I'll keep providing the readmes and definitely go through it. It will be definitely an asset to your interview help. I mean, interview preparation help. Okay. So this is what, like I said, I was thinking of showing you cloning today, but some other day. I'm not skipping a single topic. Don't worry. I know exactly what I've not covered. So now let us start a first day of your advanced Java. You must have seen the contents and all. So if you see the contents, they say first with a web container web server. But guys, without doing the database programming, we are not going to write a single web application without database. So that doesn't make sense. So now, first things first, everyone has confirmed your database is up and running, right? So now let me send you something called as JDBC drivers. So guys, we are starting into advanced Java. So in my folders, I have created a separate folder. So you also guys make a, right now I'm not sharing, right now I'm giving you only what is required. But when you start, today you will get a different Google Drive. Sir has already created a new one for us for advanced Java. And there I'll start maintaining day 1 to whatever days we have together. Okay, so keep it separate because again you'll have day 1 help, I mean day 1 data, day 2 data likewise. So enterprise Java, today we are starting with your JDBC, and I have also given you something web programming prerequisites, but I'll tell you what I expect from you in the lab session, because lab session everyone will be together. You will have your laptops, desktops, whatever, and I'll get few things done. So the database related instructions, I think you don't require. I'll give you whenever they require. I'll give you something which you'll require definitely. JDBC drivers. We're not doing Oracle here, so I'll give you this. Okay, I'll give you this both. Just a second. 8.0.20. Give me a minute. I'll just go for the latest version. 2 minutes. Otherwise, unnecessary, I should not give you something like 2 seconds. Uh, 8.0.27 we got. I got. Okay, fine. 2 seconds. I'll just take the latest copy. 8.0.27. I'll share the latest ones on itself. Yeah, so I'm sending you JDBC driver zip. Yeah, I'll give you Akshay all these instructions in a second. Just give me 2 minutes. Everything I'm going to give you properly. Enterprise Java, Daemon help, JDBC, and the JDBC drivers. Yeah, just download this JDBC drivers, please. Let it get downloaded. And like somebody said yes to Akshay already. Under, see what I've got is, this is my ICSD September PGDAC. So under that, all these days we had core Java. So here I'm going to create a separate folder. I have created Java E. And actually, I'll just reorganize. That is about me. So you also make the similar folder. You can create a subfolder. And let me say here, I'll create another folder. Java EE help. You don't worry about this. This is my organization of the folders. Oh, it's not open currently. Anyway, let this be. So you maintain that properly. And now, are we going to continue in the same Eclipse workspace, or are we going to choose the fresh one? Answer is fresh one. No, I don't want you to mix up core Java projects into this thing, advanced Java. So now I'll start giving you the instructions. Do it with me. I mean, it's not a great instructions. You can do it in the lab. File. Look at this option, switch workspace. Can everyone see the switch workspace option? Keep responding yes or no. File, switch workspace. We are switching the workspace. And then you go to other. And here you can say browse. And I'm keeping it all together. So as I told you, I have created a subfolder Java E. And this is what is going to be my new workspace. I would also recommend you must have, or I don't know, your choice. You might have created one folder Core Java, one Advanced Java, your choice. Just do it properly. Java EE, have I got a space in that? No. Just a second, I'll just remove the white space. Sometimes, it causes a problem. And I'm just removing the white space in the two, so that later it doesn't create any problem. Oh. I have to, it's not allowing me because I'm already there. Why it is, which way it is opened? Just a second. It's not allowing me because it says it's open in some of the folders. Let me fix that. Still not allowing. Let's close everything, guys. I don't think I opened anything from here. Nothing from here. This I will save later, maybe. I'm just checking why it is not allowing me. You don't waste time. If it has created in your case, fine, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll simply create a new folder without wasting time. Still, it is not allowing. Forget it. I mean, I don't want to waste your session time. And I'll use that as a workspace. So we were in the change workspace part. So let this start. And here, I'm not continuing with this. So say browse. I tried all those things what you suggested, guys, but it still did not work. Anyway, I've got this and select the folder. So I've got ICSD, PGDAC, J2E. Fine. Java Enterprise Edition. What is that Java Enterprise Edition? All those things will be explained in proper time. Don't worry. So has everyone created a new workspace and the look is here? Because I took a longer time. I hope this time than you. And close the Spring dashboard. You don't require it. We'll require it when I start you on Spring Framework. Okay, next one. You're not going to require servers now, but let this be. So step 1, change the perspective. Okay, 0th step. I'm changing the font size. Window, preferences, general, or you can, sorry, directly. Why should you struggle? Just say font, colors and fonts. This I had given you all these instructions, so I'm not slowing down here. You should know by now how to change the fonts and all. If you want, that is. If you're happy with the small font, fine. So I've changed the font. Now the proper instructions. Change the perspective. You know everything, guys, now. So I don't expect you to waste time or ask me to repeat. Perspective, open perspective. Choose still the Java perspective. Now I'll wait. Change the perspective to Java and change the font size. When you start actually working on your projects, if you already have the prior experience of IntelliJ, you can work on there. But here, STS is Spring Tool Suite, which is nothing but an Eclipse with a Spring Framework ka plugin. So whatever are the latest changes in the Spring technology, they always incorporate. So for a beginner, I show this. Once you have experience, you can choose whatever IDE you want. I mean, NetBeans, nobody uses these days. IntelliJ IDEA or your this thing, Eclipse STS are the popular ones. Going ahead, do one check, please. So here, window, check this, preferences. We are checking whether your JDK settings are proper. Ankush, you should know this already. Window, perspective, open perspective, and say Java. Do that, Ankush. So now the next instruction, I'm telling you this thing. Let us confirm the Java setting, JDK setting. Now, so here in the top left corner, type JRE. Type JRE, click on install JRE, and please confirm everyone's. This is the last time, guys, I'm giving you this instruction. If when we are in the middle of Spring Boot or Hibernate or something and you start telling me it is not working, and if I see that your JDK version is something like 16 and 17, I'm not going to help you, because I have really wasted a lot of time in giving this instruction. So everyone should be on the same ID, and the location should be pointing to, I don't know where you have installed Java, generally program files Java JDK, but the JDK 11 has to be common. The update version can be anything. I have given these instructions multiple times in core Java. So there's nothing new here. So since it is already set, you can say cancel. And now we will start working on day-wise J2E projects. So today being day 1, we'll start with JDBC, today, tomorrow. And then third day onwards, I'll take you to web programming. Okay, so this is, everyone has kept it ready. And now let me start with your first day. Not here, even help, the sequence. So what we are starting on, first topic, the easiest topic in entire Java is Java database connectivity. Okay, I have yet to meet a programmer. This is my favorite statement. All the time I make this statement. After spending a day or two in JDBC, you will find that this is the easiest, straightforward, standard API. So in the first week of Enterprise Java, starting today, we'll be working with, I'll show you servlets, JSP, Java Beans, all using JDBC for database connectivity. And once we finish this, in the second week onwards, I'll introduce to Hibernate. And then you will climb so many ladders. First step in the ladder is JDBC. Then is native Hibernate. Then is JPA. And ultimately in the Spring world, you have Spring Data JPA. So as a project technology, you will be using Spring Data JPA, but there are in-between steps to climb. Okay, so step by step you'll be understanding. So start. What does JDBC stand for? Java Database Connectivity. What is it? It is nothing but an API. So which is the package in which you will find all these classes and interfaces? The name of the package is java.sql. And why JDBC? To allow the programmer to connect to the database, to perform CRUD applications, CRUD operations, create a record, insert a record, retrieve, select star, select records, update, delete, etc. Close the database connection, and then searching, sorting, everything. All whatever you have learned in DBT for MySQL, I'm not talking about NoSQL databases, I'm talking about RDBMS. When we discuss about, NoSQL I don't, but if anyone is planning to take MongoDB for their project, talk to me separately in the project phase. I'll give you some ready-made Spring Boot with Mongo database connectivity, template project. So that is later. Coming back to the point. So this is what we are going to do with MySQL. Now, any new topic, we always start with why. So why JDBC is so famous, so popular among the programmers? Because it is a Java API, you automatically already get platform independence. Okay, but this is fine. We already know about this. But what you additionally get is database vendor independence. So what I mean by that is, I'll like to show you with a picture. So right now, don't read too many things because you may not understand. So I'll just tell you what to read about it. So you have a Java application. We are going to write it in another 5-10 minutes using JDBC API, using the package java.sql. What all you are going to use? You're going to use connection, statement, prepared statement, callable statement, result set, etc. So start reading from the top. Why JDBC? Platform independence plus database independence. You remember this VORA? Write once, run anywhere. So what was the meaning of VORA till now? Run it on, write Java application, compile it, and the compilation output is a .class file. So you can run it on any platform thanks to platform specific JVM, which acts as a translator. But here that this JDBC takes this ahead. It says, of course, you can run it on any platform, but can I run it? Can I run the same Java application on any database? Answer is yes. So let it be your Oracle database. Let it be your MySQL database. Let it be your Postgres DB2 HSQL or even your Mongo, NoSQL database, Cassandra, Mongo, whatever. Okay, so this is that database independence which you enjoy. Understood what I said? Write once, compile once, and you can run it on any existing databases. Clear or not clear? The statement is clear or not clear? Database vendor independence. So naturally you have to understand how. So let me ask you. We will be writing a Java app using Java methods, Java API calls, Java data format. And what does the underlying database understands? Does it understand Java methods, Java API, Java data format? It's a Boolean question. Of course not. It understands native database format, which is SQL. But ANSI SQL, all the databases are not 100% compliant with ANSI SQL. There could be some variations. Anyway, so when you are having one understanding Java data format and native data format, to understand each other, what is it you require in between? Java, and one is understanding native database format. What is it you will require in between? I get the answer immediately. What is the answer here? No, that is I have written. You don't know about any driver. What is it you will require? One is speaking in Java, one is speaking in database. Interpreter. Interpreter is also this. How can you say database and all when the databases are there? You're really off track. Guys, you require a translator. Which translation you require? Java commands, Java methods to database understandable format. Your queries and all will be executed here, and the query results have to be again translated back into what? Java data format. And that job of a two-way translation. Which two-way translation? Java to database and database results to Java. That is done by the JDBC driver. So what is JDBC driver? Okay, let me say this way. Can your Java application talk to underlying database without a JDBC driver, without a connector? You call it as connector. In Express also we have connectors, MySQL connectors you have. Answer is no. Okay, so now read this. Who is going to supply typically this JDBC driver, this box? It is typically supplied by database vendors. So the one which I have given you, one was supplied by Oracle for Oracle JDBC jar and the other one with MySQL. Or there are third-party companies who are also specialized in writing JDBC driver. Next question. How is this JDBC driver supplied? How is any third-party Java code supplied? In the jar file. Does everyone remember we had created our own jar files and added the dependencies in serialization, deserialization? So now we are going to take a ready-made JDBC connector jar and we are simply going to add it in the runtime class path. Okay, so that we will do. So one reason of why JDBC is database independent is when you change the database from one to another, what is it you will have to change? Or I'll rephrase the question. Is JDBC driver going to be database specific or database independent? translator has to be changed, right, Girish? So tell me, JDBC driver, database specific or database independent? Because you are making, very disappointing mistakes. How can it be database independent? When you talk about Oracle, you have to translate from Java to Oracle understandable database format. When you talk about MySQL, it has to be converted into MySQL specific instructions and likewise. So database specific or database independent? Is it going to change from database to database? Of course, yes. Didn't our JVM change from platform to platform? Are you going to use the Windows JVM on Linux or Mac? Of course not. It has to be OS specific, platform specific, right? Same way. So here, this is one thing. What brings the database independence to JDBC? This JDBC driver. So the moment you change the underlying database, just change the database driver and your same Java application can continue to talk to the new database. Okay, that is one reason. And now there is a second reason, a very important. Guys, these are the concepts, these are the questions people ask you. Okay, they will ask you that what is JDBC? You'll say, okay, Java database connectivity. What do you use it for? Database connections, CRUD applications, etc. Now, why JDBC? You'll say, okay, it gives me platform independence, database independence. People ask you how. People don't just buy it at the face value. Those who want to check whether you are understanding it or not. So I'm trying to explain. How does JDBC API give you, or how does JDBC give you database independence? So one answer is driver. And the other answer is in the API itself. So when you open JDBC specifications, open it please. When I say JDBC specifications, open your Java docs. Everyone knows Java 11 docs. And here, search for a package, java.sql, java.sql. There's a javax.sql also. I'll talk about it later. So here is the java.sql. And here it is the current version is JDBC 4.3 and all that. And here they're not given all the things. Okay, yeah. So if you come down, or you can look at it here. If you observe, you will see it is 90% full of interfaces and you will have very few classes. Okay, so what kind of interfaces are you going to look at? Connection interface, driver interface, then there is a statement, prepared statement, result set. So you keep looking at that. I will discuss my diagram. So here, when you open java.sql package, what is it consisting of largely? Interfaces or classes? I or C? Interfaces. Everyone understands it? So now let me tell you the basic simple example. So if you want to perform any database operation, CRUD operation, what is the first thing you have to do? You have done it in Express, I guess, right? So what is the first thing you have to do is open the database connection. Everyone understands me? You told me you have done the CRUD operations and all that. So you have to establish the database connection. So there is a java.sql.connection interface. Now answer. Can one interface be implemented by multiple implementation classes or single? It is all related to interfaces. Can one interface be implemented by multiple? So listen to the next statement very carefully. When you open this jar file, which I'll open it for you and show you shortly. When you open this jar file, what does it consist of? Of course, it consists of JDBC driver classes, plus it will consist of these java.sql interfaces implementation classes. I'll repeat the last statement again. Like I said, you don't have to memorize what I'm saying. You're going to see it in 5 minutes. When you open that JDBC connector jar, you will see, of course, driver class. But in addition to that, you are also going to see what? Implementation classes. So for example, if you open Oracle driver, Oracle JDBC jar, you will see Oracle JDBC driver, Oracle connection. So tell me, what is Oracle connection? Interface or a class? What must be Oracle connection? Interface or a class? It's an implementation class. When I open MySQL connector jar, you will see COM, JDBC, I mean CJ, all these path and all I'll show you. You will see a class called as connection implementation. So it is an implementation class. Or for DB2, there is a DB2 connection, HSQL, etc. and all that. So now tell me, while writing the Java application, JDBC application, are we going to use interface names or implementation class names? I, interface, C, class. Again, you're giving me, very wrong answers, unfortunately. Guys, if you start using implementation class names such as Oracle connection, MySQL connection, DB2 connection, will the code remain database specific or database independent? Tell me. Of course, it will become database specific. And how do you then, how do you sell your JDBC API as a database independent? Of course, you are going to use interfaces. And can interface reference such as connection refer to implementation class when you add this Oracle JDBC driver? Yes, directly without typecasting. You know it is upcasting. Can the same connection interface reference refer to MySQL connection implementation class directly the moment you change the database and the driver? Yes, again, and likewise. So this is the only concept in JDBC. So I'll be repeating it over time, but I just wanted to give you the clarity regarding regarding why JDBC is so popular. And somewhere you just noted that, does JDBC give you 100% database independence or only partial? Answer is partial. When are you going to access, when are you going to experience, enjoy 100% database independence? You know, Hibernate onwards. Hibernate, JPA, Spring Data JPA, full database independence. Here, why partial? Because you tell me, even though all of these databases are SQL compliant, will there be any basic small changes between SQL syntax from database to database, or zero changes? Will there be any changes in the SQL? Of course, there will be changes. How you call the stored procedure, how you execute a particular function, or how you have limit. For example, limit exists in MySQL, doesn't exist in Oracle, etc. So you will see, when I start you on JDBC programming, we are going to embed, we are going to insert your SQL queries directly in those statements. So tell me, when you change from Oracle to MySQL, those SQL queries have to change slightly or no change? Change or no change in SQL queries? Change. And the moment you say you have written it in the Java file, Java code has to change. So will JDBC give you 100% complete database independence or only partial? That way it is partial. Wait for Hibernate next week to begin and you will enjoy full database independence. Okay, so this was the background. So now, let me see. I'll send you something. JDBC overview, so that you know you'll have that diagram and we are going to follow the steps and work with it. So let me share. Please download JDBC overview and one. Just a second. Sequence also I'm going to give you. Okay, I'm sharing. Actually, scrap it. What I'll do is I'll give the whole thing. Wait a second. Just give me a second. Have I written here anyway? All the public here, trivial, everything. Yes. Okay. So what I'll send you is a couple of things. database related instructions I'm sending you, so that we won't waste time in anything. Just download database related instructions and the zip of this JDBC help folder. This is slightly longer, JDBC help. You don't require it immediately. I'll open it and start explaining. I've sent you two things, database related instructions. You can keep them open. And the other thing I've sent you is the JDBC help. So from JDBC help, there's a diagram. And the first diagram I'm explaining is JDBC overview. So we're going to follow this diagram today, tomorrow, and complete or discuss the JDBC steps. You let me know whenever you are ready. Downloaded both. So keep both the things open. JDBC overview, you can open it in the Paint or something if you want. So it will be like always open as a reference. And the other thing I want you to open is database related instructions. Okay, keep both of these things ready. Now I'll explain the first step and we'll continue. It is going to be a step-by-step approach. So the first step is, can you write any JDBC code without using the JDBC driver? Answer you already know. Answer is no. So the first step is add JDBC driver, that is add that JDBC jar in the runtime class path. And this I have got it done in the last week itself by showing you how to add the class path and all that. Okay, so follow the instructions, please. We are creating day 1.1 of your enterprise Java, of your advanced Java. So start by the same thing, create Java project. Day 1.1. Don't say finish. Don't be in a hurry. Give me time. Follow me. At least in the first one, this follow me. So you have created, means given the name. Don't say finish here. Say next. Reached everyone? This is your day 1.1 and this. So now we want to add the external jar. So which is the tab you are going to click on? Third tab, libraries. Everyone remembers? I've got it done. Only the difference was that time we were creating our own dependency jars and we were giving it to the deserializer. Click on a class path. Module path don't touch. Click on a class path and here add external jars. And now I don't know where you have downloaded that JDBC help. Check it. Go to that JDBC help, JDBC drivers, and select MySQL connector. I'll wait here. Under class path, add external jar which has MySQL connector driver. Done? Because after I say finish, I can't go back. Everyone done? Nobody wants me to wait. Under the class path, add the external jar and say finish. No module info required. Okay. So now you expand day 1.1. What all you will be seeing under that? SRC. Of course, JRE system library Java C11 and the expand reference library. Can everyone see MySQL connector there? Okay. Now I want to show you the contents of the jar. What is it you have got in that jar? Expand that. Got this? So what does a jar consist of? Package classes. It is a archive of package classes. So which is the most important package to us, which we are going to use for JDBC driver? It is com mysql cj JDBC connector for Java CJ. Found it? com MySQL CJ JDBC. Okay, expand that. And you can see that this driver.class is that JDBC driver, which is what going to be, which will be used in establishing the database connectivity to your MySQL database, Want this driver class? Okay. Now you can see so many things are there, which I said, but I don't know whether you understood or not. So can you see something called as connection impl.class? So what is it? Is it an interface.class file, or is it a class? Implementation class, the name itself. And which interface you think it must have implemented? The name of the interface, connection. So go back to all the way to the day of interfaces, long back, when in the first week of Java. And I had told you why interfaces. There are reasons such as multiple inheritance issue and pure abstraction, all that. But the biggest reason is classic separation, complete separation between what is to be done versus how it is to be done. So tell me, interfaces is equal to specification is equal to what is to be done. So tell me, where are these specifications? Where are these interfaces? Where are these interfaces, guys, such as connection, result set, statements, prepared statement? Where are these interfaces? Java.sql package, very right. Who is giving you this Java.sql package? Oracle Sun, I mean our Java vendor. And implementation is left to the database vendors, or you can say JDBC driver vendors. So tomorrow, you want to replace MySQL by Oracle. What is it you will change? You will simply replace this MySQL connector jar to your OJDBC jar, Oracle JDBC jar. And what will you see there? The implementation classes of the same interfaces, connection implementation, your statement implementation, result set implementation, etc. So I hope now you will understand in better manner. So whenever interviewer asks you why, what is so special about interfaces? And when you say they allow you the separation between what is to be done versus how it is to be done, always quote that JDBC example. People definitely get impressed, because they know that you have thought it over and you actually understood why interfaces. So once again, in 2 days time, when I take you to J2E APIs, servlet API, JSP APIs and all that, we'll talk about this once again. So everyone has found it. So first step is done. What is the first step? First step was here. Add the JDBC driver in ID. I mean external this thing. Has everyone completed it? Everyone could notice the jar file and the contents of the jar also. Great. Now, this was required in earlier drivers, but I'll still explain, because sometimes, there's a question in the exam and all that. So here you have to, I'll say you had to, past tense. Today you don't have to. So here, read the next step. This is a programming step now. So what we are going to write is, we are going to write a 2-liner code, which will confirm the database connectivity. So before you can call this get connection method and all that, earlier we had to load. Earlier means, I don't remember, maybe some earlier versions of JDBC jars. We had to load this JDBC driver in the JVM's method area. So how to do that? I hope everyone remembers seeing java.lang.class. Where have you seen it? In core Java, where have you seen it? I've talked about it briefly. In reflection programming, I'll discuss more detail. Do you remember any method which will give you this class? Nobody remembers? Okay, let me ask you. If you want to print, yes, exactly, get class, right? So object class has a method, object.get class. It returns you this loaded class reference, same class I'm talking about. So there is a static method. You can see it's a generic method. It is a static method. And what you have to specify is fully qualified driver class name to load the driver class in the method area. Is it truly required today? Today means in the latest versions? No. But if any question comes, you should know about it. So now guys, open this thing, open your STS. You can collapse this and let us write our first JDBC example to test database connectivity. Okay, so and later we will nicely put it in DB utils and simply call it from the layers. Today, first day. So everything proper. I mean, everything with this. So here you can say, I'm just thinking, yeah, let's write a tester. You can write a tester package. And here you can say test database connection. I generally want you to do this along with me. But if you are not logged in or if you are not doing it, this is naturally the first thing you will try it in the labs today. Add a main. Reached here? So now write the comment. So here, load MySQL connector, that is JDBC driver class in method area. Classes are loaded in the method area. This step is completely optional, and unlike other times, am I saying it is recommended? No. But why I'm showing you that, if somebody gives you this code and you don't know about it, you'll feel confused. That's why. So you start with class. The name of the class itself is class. There is a static method for name. It loads the specified class, and now be careful. Okay, forget about, because if you make a spelling mistake, you'll waste time. So which is the driver class I have shown you here? Com MySQL CJ JDBC. If you are bold enough to that you will not make spelling mistakes, you can type it out, or otherwise I'll show you copy paste option. This is the folder name, package name, and the name of the class is driver. So if you want, you can type nothing too much, com MySQL CJ JDBC hardly, or if you are lazy, you don't want to risk it, you can also, have I written? No, I have not written. So you'll have to be not lazy. The second step I have given. Anyway, do it with me. So here, not difficult, com.mysql. Anytime you are running into doubts, keep this in front of you. Folder names, package name, all lowercase. com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Anyway, I'll send you the code in a minute. If you see, you will get this thing, unhandled, checked exception, class not found. You can say throws, but since it is a tester and all, and if you misspell it, suppose I say spelling mistake, you definitely will get the error. So catch all. Print chapters. So this is your loading the JDBC driver step. Done. Later I'm going to show you. You don't require this step at all. You tell me when your first step is done. Only thing is, don't make spelling mistakes here. If you make a spelling mistake, of course you are going to get a class not found exception. Given you that. Now the next step is really important. Next step is, again, refer to this, my diagram. So you have got you have loaded the driver. Now, first thing is, everything starts with getting connected with the underlying database. So I have already given the step here. I always like to show from the Java docs. So here, there are very few classes in java.sql. The name of the class which manages the driver is java.sql.driver manager. Search for driver manager class. Like I said, there are at the most 5 to 6 classes in that. This is one of them. Got this driver manager class from the Java docs. Now you can see what is it. It is nothing but a basic service for managing set of JDBC drivers. And there is a method here called as get connection. You will see there are overloaded methods. We are going to use the second method, which has database contacting URL, DB URL, username and password. That is why I was asking you. Does everyone know your own username and password for MySQL database connectivity? In my case, I told you root and root it is. I don't know your this thing. So you should know that. And the URL I'm going to give you. Okay. So here you can see this. Read. Everything I'm explaining from this. URL is nothing but a, what does URL stand for? Uniform Resource Locator. So look at it and tell me, is it your web URL or is it your JDBC URL? It is a JDBC URL. You are not contacting any web resource. This is not a client connecting to server. So what is the structure? What is the syntax? It starts with the keyword JDBC, and the sub protocol is typically the name of the vendor. So it is MySQL basically. So JDBC colon is the separator, colon MySQL, and this subname is typically, the database details. So this I'm giving you 100% in a ready-made manner. Otherwise, you will make mistakes and waste time. So open DB related instructions and let me explain the database URL. Start reading from left to right. Tell me, what is JDBC? The main scheme, the JDBC protocol. What is MySQL? The vendor, the database vendor. If you change it to Oracle, it changes to JDBC colon Oracle colon thin and all that. Now, where is the database hosted? Is it hosted up in the cloud in AWS or is it locally hosted? Cloud hosted or local hosted? Locally hosted. Port number, ready-made. I mean, if you are not changed, guys, now onwards, don't do blindly things. I've given you the instructions. When you open command line client, you just run the method status and it will tell you the TCP port which is being used. So when you installed MySQL, if you have not changed the port number, default port number is 3306. Is it the same for all of us? Okay, great. So you don't have to change. Because of something, if you have changed the port number, you'll have to make the port number changes. Now here after that, what comes is the database name, database instance name. So since it is a 2022 batch, your batch, DAG batch, so we are going to create a database instance, DAG 22. If you want, I would suggest, let me say this, I would suggest create a separate database instance for our work together, Advanced Java, so that you can, keep writing to this, all these everything, all Advanced Java training will create a new database. And now these are do you recognize them? What are these? Query strings. You can understand that query string exactly. So here we are not using digital certificates and SSL authentication. So I'm saying use SSL false, otherwise it aborts. And again, there is a concept of public keys and private keys. So disabling the public key retrieval. So now pick up this line completely, copy this. Also, yeah, you can copy it. And here you can add it here. You can just paste it here. I don't think you have a database by the name. I also don't have. So everything I'm going to do it with you together from scratch. So let us create the database instance. By the way, there is a flag here. Flag means one more query parameter. Create database if it doesn't exist. I'm not doing that. Maybe later project phase and all, I'll tell you. So here, everyone knows basic commands, I guess. Create database. That 22. I'm using it. And you can say use. That 22. Whereas if you say show tables, there's nothing. It's still an empty set. Created the database. Create database DAC 22. You can say DAC September 20, whatever I mean. Let's keep the same thing. Done. Okay. So now I'll repeat the explanation of it. Main protocol JDBC, database vendor name, the database server details, where it is running, on which IP and which port. Then comes the database names and two query parameters such as use SSL and allow public key retrieval. This is to tell that we are not using any SSL here. This is all locally hosted. Now let us use the API. So right here, so that you'll remember, API means method of java.sql.driver manager class. And which is the method we are going to use? This is your static method, public static method, which is going to return you the database connection. And that connection is the nothing but an interface from java.sql package. Method name is get connection, and you have overloaded methods. So the one we are using is database contacting URL, the username and password. And in database programming, in JDBC programming, if anything goes wrong, suppose your database is down, you have not started the database. So, database is a service. So if you have not started the service and all that, of course, you'll get exception. And that exception is a checked exception, java.sql exception. In case you are trying to fire the query or unreachable database, anything which goes wrong includes this. So now I'm just going to open the database connection. So here you will see later, connection is an auto closable interface. You can check it out. Don't trust later. See, this is the one. So if you click on connection, it's an interface. Anyone wants to tell me where will be the SSL? You don't know what it stands for, Vijay? Anyone wants to tell him what does SSL stand for? Secure socket layer. What else? It's a HTTPS, HTTP or secure. So same thing here, secure socket layer. Primer, read Google Primer and read what SSL is. Secure socket layer it is. Okay, these are the steps. These are the things you should know, by the way. Okay, so I think you know this, but you forgot. No problem. So connection is auto closable, and it is a connection with a particular database where you will be executing SQL queries, results and everything. So the moment I have auto closable interface, can I open it in a try with resources? 100% yes. Can I have a try within a try? Yes again. So you can have try with resources. So I don't have to say connection.close. I will write the left hand side. When you say connection, please import. Don't import blindly. You'll start getting class cast exceptions otherwise. What are you going to import? Are you going to import com.mysql.jdbc, cj, etc. or only java.sql? Are you going to import any database specific MySQL packages? Never. Otherwise, how will you get the database independence when you port it to Oracle? So please import it from java.sql. I'll suggest this way. Just once itself you do java.sql.start and you'll start getting all the correct imports. Okay. Now, so connection CN. Anyone wants to tell me the right hand side? Answer is right in front of you. RHS, please. Which is the method you're going to call? Driver manager. Yes, you are right. So driver manager dot get connection and use the 3. I've already given you URL. My combination is root and root. Please don't follow this. I don't know your credentials. Username and password. You should know that. Oh. And here, if all goes well, you will enter here and you simply say database connection succeeded or connected to database. And if you say plus CN, tell me, when you say plus CN, what do you expect to see? If there are no mistakes in your coding and all, of course you will see something. So what do you expect to see? It's called a toString. So what will you see in the toString? It has not overridden the toString and all. So fully qualified class name and a hash code. So anyone wants to tell me, will the fully qualified class name will it be java.sql.connection? The output here, fully qualified class name @ hash code. So that fully qualified class name, will it be Java? You're not supposed to run it and confirm. You're supposed to tell me from your brain's understanding. Will it be java.sql.connection? No response. Answer is no. What will you see? You are totally off track. I'm saying plus CN. CN, how can it be driver manager? Anyone? Nobody wants to answer? I thought it was clear after so much of discussion. Yes. Connection is what? Interface or implementation class? So can interfaces be instantiated? But interfaces will refer to what? Implementation class instance. And which implementation class instance I showed you guys? Here, I showed you already something. Where is that? Connection implementation class. So that is what you are going to see. Not driver, Yogesh, it is not driver. It is the connection ka implementation class. So this is what you're going to see. If all goes well. Check it out. And okay, sorry, before you run it, am I leaving any database connection hanging open or is it getting closed automatically? Open or closed? It is going to getting automatically closed thanks to this. So run this, save all of that and run this and tell me what happened. Exceptions are working. So this is the only, I won't say hard part, but the initial part. This is where now you are going to keep these two lines. I mean, the driver database connectivity part same. Exception you are getting, Nilesh, I'll help you in the lab. Just tell me what is the exception. You should not be getting it. You must have done the misspelling and all that. Nilesh, access denied. That means your username password is wrong. Class not found, your spelling is wrong. You are making the spelling mistakes even after I gave you the code. Guys, you have to do better than this. Class not found exception means you have misspelled this. I had sent you this on the Zoom chat. Anyway, I'll send you the code. Don't copy the code as it is because your username and a password can be different. Anyway, all these individual cases I'll handle in the lab session. So majority, if it tries it here, very good, because this is not a lab session. Try to fix it. Otherwise, you can. I'm sending you this code. Wait a second. Fixed. Very good, Abhijit. I'm sending you this anyway, in case anyone requires it. But anytime now you get any my database code, please ensure that you just have to edit one thing, username and a password. And I hope you have created the database name DAC22 for our work. Actually, yeah, you'll require. I've not said create database if it doesn't exist. Now, how many failures? Let me have a keep track of it. How many still take my code and tell me. Just change your username password, please. Nilesh also is saying fixed. So Yash, unknown database. I told you, so Yash, you have to create the database. I give all the instructions in a very slow manner. So read that and fix it. Okay, so majority, whoever doesn't get it, of course, will help you in the lab session. Madan, then you'll have to create a new user and try it out. If you forget the MySQL password, I can't help you really. So here, now you can't afford to forget this. You can always change the password later. Now, what is it I was going to say? Right. So from later versions of MySQL database driver, JDBC driver, this step of explicitly loading the JDBC driver is no longer required. Means what? Simple English. Comment this class loading and run it and tell me. Still working or failed? Stop to work. Stopped working or still working? It has to. I'm using, I told you, you must have seen, I've got the latest JDBC driver. It no longer requires the extra step. Then you might be thinking, why you wasted our time and troubled us? Guys, people in industries, if they are using some older version, they still require this step. So at that time, I don't want you to have doubts. So is this step required, optional or required? 100% optional. And when it is working, why it is recommended? Not at all recommended. Only one line you require. Here, give the DB URL, username and password, and it works. So this finishes the first important step of connecting to database. Okay, first step done. So now, before I explain any of this, let me give you some tables so that we can work in the same manner. I know you must have created so many tables and all of that, but let me give you. So I have given you the whole day one help, I guess. JDBC help I have given you. Open that JDBC help, please. I've sent you the zip. Under that, can you see a package, a folder, SQL? Okay, open SQL commands. Other SQLs you don't require today. So these are the standard database commands. Ignore that. And here, come to this table definition. Can you all see a simple my employee table? This is good for getting started. Okay, so can you all see my employee table? It's the easiest one, which has a employee ID primary key, auto increment, employee name, address, salary, department ID, and a join date and some data. So copy this entire table along with the data, Control C, and paste it in your database. I hope you have already changed the database to DAC22. Right click, it will get pasted. And then say select star from what was that, my MP, and check whether you got a table loaded with data, which is this file JDBC. See the packet, this thing under JDBC help, SQL commands, and there you search for my employee. I said all the things already, Girish. Copied the data. Okay. So SQL commands I have already shared so that you don't have to waste your time in creating the tables and populating the data. So now what is going to be our objective? The 0th objective was establishing the connection with database. So I hope majority, whoever is working along with me, has already succeeded. JDBC help, can anyone send Himanshu JDBC help again? Please send him so that I don't have to waste my time. Only one. Don't 10 of you is not required. Only one, please send JDBC help. Okay. So we have already established the database connection. Now the easiest one I'm going to show you is displaying of all the employee details. Thank you, Sumit. So if I want to do it in database, which will be the query you'll require to display all employee details? I'm starting with simplest queries. Which query you'll require? Select star query. What else? There's no join, there's nothing. We'll add joins and all later. Okay, so the query is going to be select star from my employee. And let's see what are the steps you'll require whenever you are doing it from Java frontend. So open that. So where we have reached, I'll ask you step by step. Has everyone created the new project? Yes. Have you added the JDBC driver jar in that? Yes. Have we established the connection? It is called as a fixed connection. Pooled connectivity with Hibernate, I'll explain. Have we established? Answer is yes. So now let us proceed. So from that database connection, you can create 3 different type of statements. So what is going to be that statement? That statement is going to be the query holder. So am I teaching you SQL queries here? No, you already are expert. So I'm just going to show you the Java API, which will hold the queries. Okay. So the first one I'm showing you, the first one is the statement object itself. I mean the statement, it's an interface actually. So this is what I'm going to show you. So first read it and I'll show you from the Java docs. So when you open connection interface, which is the method you are going to see there, create statement. So now answer the next simple question. Will this statement be an empty statement or is it holding some query already? What will it return? Empty or populated? Look at the API and answer. I'll repeat my question. I said when you say connection.create statement, is it going to return you the empty statement or is it going to return you the populated statement with the query? Should not take you so much time. Easy question. Are there any arguments here? No. When I take you to prepared statement, yes, I'm passing a SQL here. Are we passing any SQL here? No. So what will it hold? Empty or populated? Empty one. Okay. If you're not understanding in this manner, it's a summary flowchart. You can open the connection, please. Control F, create statement. And it will tell you, read the description. Creates a statement object for sending SQL statements to database. Which SQL statement we are going to send? Select star. And they tell you the use case. Whatever I'm saying is taken from here. SQL statements without the parameters are typically executed with statement objects. Okay, so tell me, you know database. So which type of parameters are there to SQLs? Anyone wants to tell me which parameters, guys? Think of a stored procedure, stored function. Exactly. In, out, or in, out. Three types. So if you use this statement, can I pass any in, out, or in, out type of a parameter? Answer is no. But if I say select star from employee, do you really require any parameter? You don't. So that is one. And this is the first example of JDBC I'm showing you. So are we going to run this query one time or multiple times? Exactly once. So when I talk about additional things, I mean, when you are executing it multiple times, the real one we will spend maximum time on is the prepared statement. So currently I'm just showing you statement API. So open the code. Come to this, I'll explain a step and we'll apply. That way it is going to be almost throughout advanced Java. Okay, sometimes it is not possible, most of the times. So now let's make a copy. You can collapse this reference libraries and copy test database connection. Oh, sorry, wait. Because you know, I can make your life easier. When you say you are executing any query, let it be insert, update, delete, or select or whatever, which first step is common between all of it? What is it you'll have to do before firing any queries? Database connectivity. You have to establish the database connection. Agreed? So tell me, writing this code, copy pasting this code in 10 testers is good, or writing it once and calling it from the tester sounds better? Refactoring it into method, of course. Okay. And Madhura, it is not exactly Madhura, but okay, fine. Agreed. So the point is, let us write. What we are going to write is, you know, collection utils, you know, validation utils, you know, IO utils. So what we will be writing now? DB utils, database utilities. And in that we will write a method which will return you a singleton instance, single connection instance. Okay, so here. So that is why I told you don't copy paste the code. So what is that singleton instance? In a minute, you will understand. So click on SRC. And I'm just thinking about it. No, don't create it as an interface. Create it as a class. Class, you'll know why in 2 minutes. Utils, DB utils. So what is it going to use? What is it going to have? You'll know. Add a static method to return, let's say, add a static method to return the database connection instance. You already have the code. We're just going to refactor it. Understood the comment? It's a class. So you'll have to use the method words such as public static. Anyone wants to tell me what will be the return type? Connection is the right answer. But in order to save you from that import issues, import which package you are going to import? java.sql.star. So you'll not be tempted to make mistake from com.mysql, JDBC, and etc. So public static connection. So it will give you now from everything from java.sql, and you can say open connection or something like how we have elsewhere. So open the connection. And is this thing loading JDBC driver class optional or required, optional or mandatory? It's optional, so skip it. Go to your earlier one. Don't waste time. We don't have, as it is always, we have this thing. So copy this database URL and just have this line, this thing, connection. Okay, you can see this way. You can just pick this up. Just a little bit of code refactoring. Return and this. Of course, you have unhandled checked exception, SQL exception. Suppose SQL exception. I'll wait. It's a refactoring of the code. I'm repeating hereafter. Don't paste my code, copy paste the code blindly. Please change my username password to your username password. Rest of it is going to be the same. Understood everyone so far? Understood everything so far? Now tell me, are we using any try with resources here? No. Will be opening, I mean, this is just opening a connection, right? We'll have it in the tester, don't worry. So I have a simple question. If anyone calls this method, let's say 10 times, the code will get called 10 times. Pretty easy. And when you say driver manager.get connection 10 times, it is going to return you 10 different connections, not the same connection. I'll repeat the statement again. If somebody makes a mistake of calling this open connection, you know, let's say, what is it? 10 times, 100 times, whatever. Suppose let's say 10 times, how many database connections will be created? 1 or 10? 10 different connections. And tell me, wasting so many database connections is a good idea or a bad idea? Horribly bad idea or a good idea? It's a bad idea. Because I hope you know from your database knowledge, any database has the maximum number of open connections it can support, and you can exhaust it. So in the second week of Advanced Java, all of this is going to disappear, and I'll show you a beautiful concept of connection pooling. But till then, I have to give you something. So let us rewrite this method so that even if this method is called 100 times, it is going to return the same singleton connection instance. I'll repeat my statement again. This is where I'm showing you the singleton pattern also, by the way. There are so many design patterns you're going to learn in Advanced Java. One of them, singleton. So your enum constants were already singleton, but I never showed you. We never wrote any class. So this is our chance. So I'll repeat the requirement. I'll write it here. Write a method, or I'll say modify the below code. Modify the code below to ensure singleton. Singleton means what? One single instance of connection maintained in the application. Is it going to be scalable really when you deploy it in the cloud and when there are multiple clients? No. But by then I will show you. I'll show you connection pool. So this is the solution I'm offering till we are in JDBC. So modify the code below to ensure singleton instance of the database connection, not scalable. Do you know the word scalability? Because I keep using it right here and all this. Abhijit, I have already shared the class. Wait, don't break the flow now in between. Send him somebody. If I cannot take a particular request, please send him, help each other, and one only. Don't 100 answers I don't want on the chat. Okay, I was saying something. I totally lost it. Yeah. Do you know the meaning of the word scalable? Yes or no? Guys, give him test database connection class to Abhijit, somebody. Scalable word, known or not known. Scalable means if the application is working fine with one client or two clients, it should give you the same performance even when the number of clients, the client load increases. That is your scalability. So of course, this is not a scalable option, not a scalable solution. Mention it, will be replaced by, what it will be replaced by? A connection pool, which is definitely a scalable solution, will be replaced by connection pool from Hibernate onwards. Okay, so I'll send you this comment because I keep writing a lot of comments and you may not write it in with so much speed and all. So let me send you the comment. So anyone wants to tell me how to ensure you understood what my requirement is? Let client call this open connection method 20 times. But should it return 20 different connections or the same singleton connection? At least that question is clear, same. So there are different ways a singleton pattern can be done. One is called as lazy, one is called as eager. So what I'm showing you is the eager pattern. What is the difference between the two later? So let's start by adding a variable. So I'm going to create a variable of the type connection. So how many connection instances we want? Single or multiple? Single. So should that be a static data member or non-static? If it is a single instance shared in all this, static. So start and hide it. Private static connection. CN. Okay. I'm explaining parallelly a singleton pattern also, by the way, taking an example of a JDBC connection. You can use it for anyone. Now tell me, what is the default value of any static member? Any static reference type of variable? 0. Guys, what is wrong with you today when you are giving me such horrible answers? It's a reference interface reference type of variable. Null. So definitely I don't want to do the null. So here, check. If connection is equal to null, what does it mean? The connection is already established or not yet established? It is not yet established. You got this? So here, if the connection is not equal to null, you can say this and you can initialize the connection to this. Okay, and here return CN. It is such an easy way. There are so many ways of writing singleton pattern. This is just one of them. So I'll wait here. I'm just checking. Yeah. So tell me, if my client code calls this open connection method 10 times, how many connection instances it is going to return? The same singleton connection or 10 different connections? Same one. Why? Because check it out. For the first time when I call it, what will be the value of CN? Null. So then it will actually establish the connection using the underlying driver and all that and return it to the caller. But from the second onwards, will it go to if branch or will it come to line number 17 directly? Of course, 17. So returns the same singleton connection instance. All clear? So this is your first one. Now I'll share this. And after doing this, Maybe in servlets or somewhere special cases I'll change, otherwise I'll not even change the code. You can add the close connection method also, but later we will add. Currently you don't require it today. Okay. So I've sent you the code. So now onwards, we'll directly use this method, open connection. And I don't have to worry about calling it one time or multiple times. It will work in the same manner. But keep it at the back of your mind. It is not a scalable solution. So later with advanced topics, I'll give you a connection pooling and all that, better solutions. Now you might have forgotten what we were doing is, I want to find out all the employee details which are stored in database from Java. So now click on tester and let's create a first class here, test statement API. You remember I was talking about statement. So first I'll show you test statement. And objective, I have already told you, I don't know whether you remember or not. Display all the employee details using the statement API is what we are discussing. You tell me whenever you are done. One thing at a time. Even if you have any problem in understanding what I've written, that is a first level priority. So ask me, I can explain. But if you don't ask me a question, I can't explain really. Okay. So now here, do I have to write the code such as driver manager.get connection? Or do I just have to call the utils class ka method? Do I have to write the code again? Of course not. I just have to call the method, right? Okay, so it's an import. I mean, it's a, what is it? Static method. So import static. All this you know. I hope I have given you enough practice of writing all this in core Java. So import static, utils, dbutils, open connection. And the SQL API is in java.sql.star. So you can say that. Now, this connection, what it is going to return, is it auto closable? Yes. Can I open it with try with resources? 100% yes. So now you can specify connection. And what will be the right hand side? Open connection. So practically speaking, I'm not calling it multiple times. You call it multiple times, it will just create one single instance because of that singleton pattern used. Unhandled exceptions, catch all. Completely clear so far? You take your time. There's no pressure. There's no hurry. After this, we will take I'll write one more statement and I'll give you a break looking at time. So there is nothing happening so far. Only thing is we have established the connection. So now the next step. So the next step is now, I showed you from the API docs. What is it we are going to do is we are going to call the method create statement to create the empty query holder. To that we will add the query later. So click on statement and check. Is it also auto closable? Answer is yes. Can I open it in a try with resources? You know the answer, very much yes. And can I open more than one resource, multiple resources from try with resources? Yes, again. So do that. And here, create empty statement object. To statement is what? It's a query holder to hold the query. Currently it is empty. Which query we are going to add is a select query. Later we'll talk insert, update, delete, all crud. Okay. So here what we want to do is, you know the API statement is the interface. Where do you expect to see the implementation class, guys? Interfaces is coming from java.sql. Where are the implementation classes? In the JDBC jar. Which package? Same. com mysql cj JDBC, you'll see somewhere statement implementation and all that. So here con dot create statement, and you have created a statement object. But have we passed any select query to it yet? Answer is no. It is a empty, not holding any query. So just one step I'll discuss and we'll stop for a break. So open the next step. Press the parts. Okay, don't press the parts. I mean, understand. The prepare statement, callable statement later. So we have done the creation of the statement object. Now we want to execute the query. So in general, whether you use statement or later prepared statement or later callable statement, there are only 3 execution methods. So which are the 3 execution methods you are going to use? We are going to use throughout this week. Before I train you on Hibernate, execute query, execute update, or simply execute. So when you have 3 different options, you have to know which one to use. Simple option. JDBC is one of the easiest one. So if you are executing any select query, which is going to return you a selected rows and columns, which is nothing but a result set. So for executing select queries, execute query. Later, if you are using any DDL, create table, alter table, etc., a create procedure and all that, or any DML, we will use execute update. And tomorrow when I discuss stored procedure, stored function execution, which is the query we will use, execute. So tell me, which one should we use today, just now? Execute query, execute update, or execute? Easy question. Execute, you are saying. Do we have a stored procedure to execute right now? Of course, the answer is execute query. So check further. Open with the Java docs. So I got you to statement, and the method we are going to use here is Control F, execute query. And as you can see, here is the time we are going to pass finally the query. So read the description. Executes the given SQL statement, of course, select query, which returns you the single result set object. And the result set processing and all we are going to do after we come back from the break. So here, what is result set? What it means? All later, after 10 minutes. But let's use this. And okay, just one thing I need to tell you. If you see result set, it is also auto-closable. So in short, can I call this method again from try with resources? 100% yes. So here, add use execute the select query. And which is the method of statement object? It is public. What it returns is a RST. RST is my short form for result. Okay, too early for short forms. Result set. And the name of the method is execute query. Are you going to pass the query or no query here? Of course you have to pass, because this statement is not holding any query. When I take you to prepared statement, we'll speak differently. So here you are going to pass string SQL. And which is the exception it will throw in case something goes wrong? Same old checked exception, SQL exception. So now result set. So please don't take the result set from here. Take it from java.sql. All the imports from java.sql, rst, st dot execute query. And everyone knows the query. I mean, this is the simplest. Only a beginner mistake is you add a semicolon and you get a SQL syntax exception. So without semicolon, select star from my employee. I expect that nobody will make spelling mistakes in such a simple query. Oh. So this is where we are pausing here for 10 minutes break. So before that, just confirm that you have opened the connection. And even I can write it 10 times. You try writing it 10 times, it will return you the same one. Then you have created the empty statement object, which can hold the query later. And here you are passing in the query select query. And Once the select query, where will the select query be executed? In the database. And results via that JDBC driver will be sent all the way from database. They will be converted to Java data types, and that holder object, that the holder of that selected rows and columns will be the result set object. So once we come back from the break, we'll do the result set processing and check whether we can get the same, whether we can fetch the data from database. Has everyone completed it so far? 3 steps only: open connection, create a statement, execute query. So let's have a 10 minutes break and resume at 1:10. The steps which we have done. So have a quick recap. What are we doing today onwards is the Java database connectivity, JDBC programming. And the essential step, the first step in getting connected is doing the JDBC API is getting connected. So if you say control click here, it will take you open connection. And here, because we have done a small check, if the connection is equal to null, which will be happening only for the first time, you are actually getting connection from the underlying database, underlying JDBC driver, and you have database URL, username, and a password. But in all other cases, second time onwards, your connection is not null. So it is going to return you the existing connection instance to the caller. Is everyone clear about how we have achieved the singleton connection instance pattern? How we have achieved the singleton connection? Okay. Control comes back here. And now you have got 3 different type of statements to learn. So the easiest being, the least used being the statement. Okay. So the method is create statement, returns you the empty statement object. And after the statement is created, you have to choose one of the execution methods. So which are the 3 different options for execution? Execute query for select queries, execute update for DDLs and DMLs, and execute for execution of stored procedure or stored functions. So here, since it is a simple select query, we have used statement.execute query. And I hope everyone has checked that you should not have any semicolon inside the query string, otherwise inside the SQL query, otherwise you'll definitely get SQL syntax exception. So tell me, has everyone completed it so far? Those who are coding along, can I continue? Okay, so now open the API docs, and here take a look at this. So we had come till this far. So now execute query is returning your result set. So you have to understand what that result set is. So result set is an interface. Its implementation class will be again in JDBC jar. Okay, read the description. What does a result set return or rather represent? A table of data representing database result set, which is typically as a result of your SQL query. So now this point onwards, it is very, very important. Result set objects maintains a cursor. So tell me, where is this cursor positioned? When you open the result set, when you execute the query, where is the result set cursor? Answer is there in front of you. On the first record, on the first row, or before the first row? Answer is, I told you, initially the cursor is positioned before the first row. So understand me, guys. We have just gone to fire. We have just fired the query, select star. So how many rows? We are not filtering anything. We have not applied any where clause or anything. So I got 5 rows here. So all those 5 rows, this is individually a record or a row. And these 5 rows, this 5 record information is taken by the JDBC driver, converts it into Java data type, and that result set object is the holder of all these selected rows and columns. So we are just processing the result set. Okay. So here, okay. So now the methods. This result set should remind you of iterator. Do you remember iterator interface? Iterable interface having the iterator method. So if you attach the iterator, where the iterator used to be positioned before the first element, and then we used to write the while loop, while iterator dot has next and iterator dot next. Everyone remembers? So now we have a result set cursor, and result set has a method next. But here next method doesn't pass over the element, moves the cursor to the next row, and if it's a Boolean returning method, so it will return you false if there are no more records. So you can definitely use it in the while loop to iterate through the result set. They have given you everything. So like there's hardly anything which is complex about it. So which is the loop we are going to have? While result set dot next. And how many times currently this loop will iterate? Everyone should know the answer. It is going to repeat the 5 times. You got it? Now, so the same thing I have showed you in a, summary manner. So now we are talking about result set processing. What is result set? Interface. So interfaces cannot be instantiated. So when you say result set object, it means implementation class instance. Comparator instance, runnable instance. Now you are looking at result set instance. What it represents is selected rows and columns. Okay. Now, which is the method to take the cursor to the next record? The method is next. So you can imagine while rst.next. And now finally, see, your cursor is on maybe the first record. So now how do you read the row data? How do you read individual column data from a particular row? So there is I can say generically, it's not a generic method, general purpose method. Read the method name, get followed by type, and what you can pass is the column position. Everyone knows table consists of rows and columns. So here, what will be the column position start from? We are in database. Will it start from 0 or will it start from 1? Row position, column position always start with 1 in database. So now tell me, if we are going to write the code in a minute, while rst.next for the first iteration, which is the first column here? Employee ID. You can say describe my employee. You can see the structure. So which is the first column? Employee ID. So now tell me, what is the type of this int? So int also happens to be the Java type, but in Oracle you have number m comma n and all. So I have given you a simple mapping table. So see that mapping table. So here the native database types versus JDBC data types. So let me ask you, when you talk about type here, should we use the native database types name or should we use the JDBC data types names? Native or JDBC? Of course, you should use the JDBC database data types name, because here I don't have number. If I might have it in Oracle, I might not have it in database. So will this be the left-hand side column? Will it be database specific? Will it change from database to database, or will it be database independent, LHS? Of course, database specific. Native database types. So everywhere we'll be using it is called as a generic SQL type. See the word here, or commonly known as JDBC data type. So now take a look at it. Int is of course going to be int, but I'm giving you this. If you have a char, var2, what will be the JDBC data type? String. If you use for Oracle, number n, number 10, number 3, number 5, you have a int for the lesser range of values or long, the corresponding type. If you use number m comma n, it is representing a real time, non-integral type. So it can be represented by float or a double. I hope you know the 3 columns types: date, time, and timestamp. So in Java.SQL package, there are 3 classes. There is a java.sql.date. Which date class you have learned earlier? From which package you know date? Date class earlier? Java.util. So that java.sql.date is the subtype of java.util.date. So till we are in JDBC, we will use java.sql.date. And when I start Hibernate training for you, we will come back to your local date and local time and all that. So time column represented by java.sql time and timestamp by the java.sql.timestamp. Now, do you know about CLOB, CLOB and blob from your database understanding or your earlier experience? You not heard of it? Surprising. CLOB is for character large object. So if you want to store the long character file, text file in the database, you choose CLOB. So CLOB we don't use generally, but if you want to store the PDF documents, your resumes or your images, they are in what form? Text form or binary form? Binary format. So what is BLOB standing for? Binary large object. So when you have binary large object, you have the corresponding interfaces. There is the name of the interface is CLOB, character large object, for storing large text data, and for storing large binary data, you have blobs. So I'm going to show you blob handling again with Hibernate, because that is where you'll require project requirements and all that. So this is what we are doing here as the result set processing. So now let me start asking you. Okay, let us write the code and talk to you parallelly. So now you have already opened your auto-closable resources, namely connection, statement, and result set. Now come inside the try block. And since I don't know how many rows are there, what is it you will be using here? Which looping? Here I'm not showing you any streams and all. Simple coding. Which is the loop here? rst.next. Read the pop-up. Moves the cursor forward one row from the current position. It is initially positioned before the first row, and then it will try to take it to the next row. What will it return when it reaches the end of result set? False value. So while rst.next, now I just want to print the data. So let us do that. SOP. Just change it to formatted printing. You remember printf, formatted printing. So I want to print, I want to display the whole table data, which is ID, name, address, salary, etc. So employee ID. This is the format specifier. So %d. What is the next? Name. We have not yet used any result set API. We'll do that soon. The name, string. So %s. Address also. Employee address. Then is the salary. Let's say, suppose I say %.1f. In case you want to have a single digit precision. Department ID in my case is varchar. So of course it will be string. So let's say department ID %s, and then we have got a join date. Again, I put a %. These are the format specifiers. Result set API we have not used, and %n for new line. I'll send you this much. We have to, of course, add the arguments. It's not done, so don't try to run it. I've just given you the format specifiers. Now you have to supply the arguments. So go slow here. First, finish this much. Format specifiers are clear, %d, %s and all that. Now, which is the method which I have shown you? Get type. Now go slow. For the first day, everything sounds complex. So ask yourself, what is the column type? Int. What is going to be the Java data type? Int. So what will be the method name now? Get type. Type will be replaced by int. So what will be the method name? Obviously rst dot, yes, get int. and the column position is counted from 1 onwards. Actually, the column position is as per the result set. But when I say select star, I'm lifting all the columns from the database. So the column positions will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. So start one by one. So what will be the first argument? rst.getInt. You can read retrieves the value as an integer and all that. And column position is 1. Let me just put it on new line. Now you will tell me the next argument. So do this. What is the next column? Name. What is the native database type? Varchar. What will be the corresponding Java data type? String. What will be the method name? GetString. Column position of 2. Very right, guys. Very good going. So write it. So next will be rst.getString. Okay. Next one. Now I think you can go faster. Address same. So what will be the method you should call for getting the address? Result set.getString 3. Very right. Continue. Three. Next one. Look at the next one. Salary. It is already double. So which will be the method you will be using for getting the salary? rst.getDouble 4. Very good. Do that. Okay. Next one. Department ID varchar. So string again. If you make a mistake in the positions and all, you'll start getting SQL exception. And the last one is, I guess, the join date. The type is date. So what will be the corresponding method to call for reading that? Get date. And what will that get date method return? Java.util.date or java.sql.date? Answer is java.sql.date. This is all JDBC. Okay, so finish it. So we have rst.getDate. Check it out. It returns you the date, and this date is nothing but your java.sql.date. Okay, so get date and position is 6. Most of the time, most of the time, guys, if you get some exception all, I'm telling you, without looking at your code, you must have messed up in the sequence or data type wrong and all that, and that will definitely lead you into problems. So I'll send you these lines. I don't think you need it, but still, like, help. So now tell me, when it reaches the end of try with resources, which will be the first resource your JVM will close? What it will call something dot close. Which one? Result set, of course. So it will close the result set. Then which is the next resource it will close? You know, it is in the opposite manner. So first it will call rst.close. Then it will call statement.close. And most importantly, finally, it will close the database connection, leaving or cleaning up of all the resources. So you don't have to waste time in cleanup the moment you use auto closability. So run this and tell me, is it fetching the data as per your underlying database? You can modify the data, you know, update queries and all that. You can delete, update and all that. Is it fetching the data all the way from the database to JDBC driver and JDBC driver into Java frontend? So let me share the full code. DButils I had already shared. Tester, test statement. In case anyone wants it. I'll wait here for a minute. You tell me. Same, Rohit, you have messed up in the sequence. The moment you say unknown format conversion exception, you have got a wrong mismatch. I've sent you the code. Please check I'll tell you the mistake is in this. Check your format specifiers, check the sequence. You must have got some invalid things. Try it out, check it out on your own. It is telling you conversion 1 is having a problem. So fix it. Okay. So now this was the easiest first example where I wanted to show you the connection, statement, and the result set and the processing of the result set. But I'm telling you, which is we are hardly going to use. Rohit, you check, I've sent you the code. So now don't keep it on this. You do little bit of checking on your own. Otherwise, I'll meet you in the lab session and check it out. I have sent the test statement already. You still require the whole project zip. Surprising. I'll send you because I thought DB tools was already shared once earlier. When you use my project zip, you'll have to edit the jar file because my jar file location and your jar file location will be definitely different. So you have to fix it. You can't directly import and change my username password, database username password to yours. Otherwise, you'll start getting weird exceptions. Somebody sent me Avinash. I told you, you'll have to change edit the class path. Otherwise, you'll start getting the build errors. How do you edit the class path, guys? All these instructions I'll give you in the lab session. After importing my project, right click, build path, configure build path. Click on the libraries. All these instructions you'll require when you import my existing project here onwards. You will see a red cross here. So click on that and here you have an edit button and import it from add it from your local directory structure and the error will go away. Did you understand me? This one, somebody asked me, Avinash. I hope you understood the instructions. Try it out. Otherwise, we'll help you in the lab. Okay. So this was the first complete end-to-end example of the statement object. But I was telling you, like, here, what is it you are going to largely use, most frequently used in the first week of Advanced Java? Statement, statement, prepared statement or callable. Answer is prepared statement. So we are going to, in the remaining time, I'm going to show you an example of a prepared statement. And looking at time, I just got 10 minutes. So I'll not go too much theoretical. I will get you started. Tomorrow anyway, we are continuing. So we'll just step back and we'll understand the concept also. So here, the short time, easiest for me to explain from the Java docs. So come to the connection interface. So everything, the starting point of the discussion is database connection. Everything is from the database connectivity. So tell me, which was the method we were using to create the empty statement? Tell me the method name. No. Yes, execute query was for execution, Girish. Create statement is a correct answer. So now the other method you are going to use to create something called as pre-pass pre-compile statement. Look for a method, prepare, Control F, prepare statement. The name of the method is prepare statement. So you will see overloaded methods. Then choose the first one, the one with the query. Oh. Okay, everyone got it here? So now tell me, statement was representing an empty statement. What is prepared statement going to represent? Empty or populated with the query? E or P? Empty or populated? Everyone understands it? So guys, this is the main difference. When you use the statement API, you are passing the query at the execution time rather late in the day. Whereas When you create a prepared statement, you are passing the query right at the time of creation of the statement. So you can read more. Like I said, tomorrow morning when we continue with the revision, I'll explain little more concepts. So see this, creates a prepared statement object for sending parameterized SQL. So they have given here the what does a prepared statement represent or rather supports. It doesn't support the out parameters, but definitely supports the in parameters. Okay, so read this. The SQL statement either with or without in parameters can be pre-compiled. When you pass it, what happens internally is it will do the processing of the query, compilation of the query, and it will store it in a prepared statement object. And once you have got the prepared statement created, then you can execute this query efficiently multiple times. So if you compare the efficiency of a statement versus prepared statement, and if you want to execute the same query multiple times, which will be more efficient? Statement API ST or prepared statement PST? Of course, PST. And that is the reason we are going to use it. Okay, so before I go any further, this I don't think we are not going to do this. This will be pending, right? So here, this is what I want to finish the session with. So read this. You understood the requirement? What is it we want to do? I want to display the employee details from a particular department joined after a particular date and sorted as per the salary. Anyone wants to tell me which query will we require for this? Which is the query you're going to require? Simple query I'm talking about. Today the first day, so of course has to be simple. Which query are we talking about? Don't give me the full query, at least give me select query. Start Akshata with select query first. Basic is the select query. And how many in parameters will you require for this query? Anyone wants to answer? Yeah, where clause and order by, of course. But how many in parameters? Let me see. How many? No. Select department and date is not wrong, Madhuri. I'm going to say all, select star. But in parameters will be department ID and the rate. Are you understanding it? So I take it that you understand select star from whatever my employee, where clause and all that we will write in runtime and will create a prepared statement object. So I'll say this, open the code. In the tester, let us create, do it as quickly as possible, test prepared statement. Because if I don't finish this, you won't be able to revise too many things in the lab session. That's my problem. Okay, so create this. Visha, now start with the standard things. Try with resources and a catch-all. Think and answer my next question. Okay, sorry, before that, print status. Okay, tell me. Will you need a scanner here? Question, Boolean question. Are you going to need the scanner here? 100% yes. Otherwise, how will you take that date and this thing, department, right? So scanner. Okay. Now, which is the package which has the JDBC API? Java.SQL. So import all of that and keep it ready. Now, is this going to be the single resource or, okay, you tell me, what will be the next step? I've opened the scanner. Anyone wants to tell me the next step? Same steps. JDBC steps are all the same. Exactly. So do I have to write a driver manager.get connection or are we going to call the dbutils method? Of course. Are you understanding the reusability? Don't repeat yourself. Import static utils, db utils, open connection, and just assign the connection instance, connection reference. Did it so far? Completed. Okay, so this is your connection established. Okay, I'll just write the comment, established database connection, done. Now what is the next step we are going to have? Are you going to create a statement object or a prepared statement object? We want to pass the in parameters. In parameters are not passable for this, so here create, I'm using PST as a prepared statement object. Okay, so here now tell me, somebody had sent me, I think Akshay had sent me the select query. At this point in time, are we talking to the user and getting the data? In short, do I know which department and which date and all at this point at the time of creation of the statement? I don't know. Okay, so we have to create the query, SQL query, with the placeholders unknown in parameters, which are represented in Java by question marks. So hold this for a while, go at the top, and here you can add a, we can create a SQL. See, instead of putting that SQL in that prepared statement, let's define it properly. Let's create it properly. Okay, so basic query, I think everyone understands. Select star from my employee where class. Okay, now be careful. So I'm saying, I'm just checking the name of the column where dptid is equal to, and here this is the dynamic value, this is the in parameter value which user going to inject later. So the placeholder, the input parameter position is represented by question mark. So where department, and we will be filling the question mark once we take the information from user. Everyone knows and what was the question? I forgot. And the joined after a specific date. So what is the name of the column? This thing, join underscore date. So let's have that, and join underscore date. What will be the next part? Yes, is it equal to, I said joined after, so greater than another in parameter. So what will be the first question mark placeholder? It's like a fill in the blanks. First placeholder represents the department ID. Second one represents the this thing, the date, join date, and then comes your order by, and the column name is, I guess, sal or salary. I'm just checking salary. Order by salary. If you want descending, you can say descending later. Is the query clear? Rest of the query you already knew. I just wanted to specify the in parameter position. In parameters later tomorrow you'll see out parameters are all represented by question mark. Okay, so now it is easy. So here prepared statement is also, it is extending from statement which is auto closable. So prepared statement PST is equal to, which is the method cn dot prepare statement, and in goes the query. So I'll wait here. Don't make a mistake, or if I make a mistake, shout. So let's start from this where depart spelling mistakes and all that. Done this much? I'm telling you, JDBC is one of the easiest topic. There, I mean, it is all systematic. Now tell me, like earlier case, earlier you remember we had also attached, executed the query and attached the result set. So can I do this result set, open the result set, execute the query right from here? I'll repeat my question. Can I execute the query from this try with resources? It's a yes or no question. Answer is no. One of you move this thing represent this. Why no? If I do this, what will happen? You'll get a SQL exception. Why you'll get a SQL exception? Have we filled in? Have you set these values? Not yet. So now leave the try with resources, enter here and ask user. What are the two things you are going to take from user is department ID and date. Understood what I said? So this is your pre-parsed, pre-compiled statement object, which is holding the query, but that query is not in a completed manner. It's a half complete. So now department ID is what? String. So I can read that easily. sc.next. I'm not having any white spaces, so next line is not required. Now you have a problem. Problem in the sense this date, what is going to be the type? We already said that. Java.sql.date. So open quickly. People have left the session early. So help those who have left the session early because they miss out on this. I just extend for 10 minutes for after a long time. Anyway, open that and here search for date. And here don't look at java.util.date, choose java.sql.date. You'll see the whole inheritance hierarchy. It is super classes util date, SQL date. So now there are no constructors here. They are deprecated. We don't use that. But there is a method called as, you know, the method value. I mean, name of the method in enums we have used. So there is a same value of method. The name is same, I mean. So tell me what goes in and what is it converting? It's parsing basically. So parsing from what to what? Converting from what to what? String to java.sql date. But there is a small catch. So click on this and tell me, can it be any date format or does it have to be a specific date format? Answer is specific date format. And this is your typical MySQL compliant, HTML5 compliant and all, year, month and day. And the leading zero, sorry, like how we had to give, you remember for that local date parse, not required. So looking at time, let me finish this fast. So when you say date, please, when you say control space, import it from java.sql date, otherwise things will fail. And I'll say join date here. And which is the method we discussed is date dot value of the local date one. Later I'll show you sc.next. Only thing is you have to give user client this. So this date has to be in the format year, month and day. No prefix of 0 is required. You will see that. So we have read the parameters. So now the important step is those you have to assign the values to these in parameters. So the step is called as set in parameters. When I join the lab session today, if you want, I can revise this last sample because I know so many people have already left the session and maybe you require help. So here are the APIs. Like how we had the getter methods from result set to get the value. Here are the setters. So pst.set. The keyword starts with set. Now you have to ask yourself, what is the data type of department ID? In the database, it was varchar. No. In my case, it is varchar. Varchar is represented by string. So set string. And what it is asking you is not the column position. Here it is a in parameter position. Means what? Question mark position. So how do you count these question marks? 0 onwards or 1 onwards? Everything in database is 1 onwards. So this is you start counting it from left to right. So what will this be? What will be its position? 0, 1, 2. Answer 1. And what will be this position? 2. Okay, so do it properly. pst.setString 1, department ID. You could have done it in one line also. And next is pst.date. So the method is set date. Parameter position is 2, and you got a parse date. Wait here for your continuation. I mean completion rather. So steps are very predictable. Open the connection, prepare the statement, read all the inputs from the user and set all those in parameters. Completed? Tell me. Now tell me, your prepared statement is ready. Your in parameters are injected. Are we ready to execute this query? Or are there some things missing? Ready for execution or not ready for execution? Some answer fast. I don't want to delay the lunch break. I asked you a question. Are we ready for execution or not? Not. What is it you want to do for execution more? Of course, we are ready for execution. Guys, our pre-parsed, pre-compiled statement is already holding the query. Query has some in parameters whose value also you have injected. So of course, now is the time to execute the query. So tell me, which execution method I should use? Execute query, execute update, or simply execute? EQ, EU, or whatever. Of course, the answer is again execute query. Why? Because which is the query I'm showing you I could finish is select query, right? So here it is going to be, it's a method of a prepared statement, public. It is going to return you the same old result set. The method name is execute query. You just tell me, should I pass a SQL here or should this be not with the SQL? You tell me, whatever you say, I will agree. I hope you will give me a correct answer. With query or without query? You expect here to pass the query or no? With the query? Wrong answer. Guys, you are not getting it. You have already passed the query here. Your prepared statement is already holding on to pre-parsed, pre-compiled query. So this is an overloaded method which doesn't require you any query. But now tell me, is this result set object auto-closable? Yes. So can I open it inside the inner try with resources block? 100% yes. Same thing. Now whatever I said earlier will work. So here open the result set. RST. RHS will be, earlier you are saying statement.execute query and passing the query. Here you will be saying pst.execute query. And as you can see, no query. If you pass the query again, you will get an exception. It will say, it will give you a SQL exception, wrong. And this part is completely the same. While rst.next, the cursor is before the first row and looking at time, which I have already stretched, please copy the next line. It's going to be the same because I'm lifting all the columns. I did not say only one or two columns. So here, do this. Only thing is, it will be selected as per your criteria. Earlier, we were selecting star, select star. Here, this is the query within parameters. So while rst.next, copy the earlier code. And here, it will call rst.close. Result set is closed. And here it will call pst.close followed by, most importantly, connection closing. Check. Got it so far? Done so far? Those who are not doing, my question, refresh question is understood so far. It's not at all compulsory to do it with me. You know that. Now let us try running this. So let me see what data we got. Hardly any samples. So let's say R&D maybe, and joined after 2018. Let's see. Don't give the wrong input and then see, then be worried why it is not working. R&D 2018, maybe 1st of Jan. So as you can see, it is sorted. I can see department ID is R&D, joined it looks okay. And of course, match it. So one of this guy was joined 2010. Yes, it's working. Just check it. This is just your select query. So see whether it is getting you the results correctly. Guys, you know SQL, you know database, you know everything. All I'm showing you is Java database connectivity. And of course, if you don't give something which has any record, it will be blank. So this is more than sufficient on the first day. And I'm sending, this thing, Nilesh, I'm going to share all these things on the, upload it on this in a minute. I'll send you this code so you can compare it. So when you join the labs, try doing things on these things on your own from scratch. Yeah, error I'll be looking it in the lab. Yes, Rohit. And whatever, then I get a time to, talk to you individually one-on-one basis. And before the time I join, you can take help of your local lab faculties. And otherwise, we can also discuss it whenever I join in. That will be all. Do definitely revision of all these JDBC objectives and all that. And we'll continue. I'll give you some exercise, some assignments in the lab. See you in the labs.